Good morning. We're going to start another series of videos to understand the concepts of evolution, growth, brain growth. We know how oxygen fuels it. We have a series of instructions on how to get that oxygen, maintain that oxygen, olfactory. I definitely put some lotion on this morning for this video. Our back breath that comes from the dermatomal outline of musculature in the body. Gives you a lot of breath. And then we, as four-legged creatures, we stood up and got more muscle development to keep those mitochondria fueled in our brain, those little powerhouses of nuclear fuel that fuel us and process oxygen for us. And then as our torsos become workable and buoyant in the environment, that upper back breath to even fuel more brain tissue and function, and then continue to stand upright. We've gotten 2 inches taller in the last 100 years as a species. You know, oxygen fuels our brain and our bodies. Now, how do we, that seems to be a lot of work, and how do we maintain the buoyancy and the expansion of the torso so that we can continue to ride above gravity, to play on gravity and evolve within our own lifetime? Fueled oxygen fuels that brain, fuels tissue, fuels that roll of genetic cascades, fuels the DNA messaging back and forth. All of this takes fuel. So to stay oxygenated, keep our mitochondria hosts. We host these mitochondria colonies of very small organisms that are very highly toxic in their inside. Very high hydrogen levels. They're dealing with electron transfers. There's like nuclear powerhouses that take oxygen, combine it with glucose, and spew out this ATP, adenotriphosphate, I believe. It's adenosine triphosphate. ATP that are actual units of energy that we use. So we have hundreds of muscles in our neck that assist in olfactory intake, in buccal mouth breath. We can get it through our mouths. The gasp response assists us in emergency type situations, emotional distress, surprise. That assists. There are muscles all in our neck that need to be kept loose and stretched. I want to talk about stretching as a way to be self-control some of this. Massage therapy is very helpful. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, that's nice. They can, touch is a very strong relaxant and stimulus. There's an energy, literal vibrational exchange between bodies. That's a hive thing that we haven't really talked about. We are colony, hive, very advanced hive animals. We need each other. We need people. We need the resonance of each other. We're not sharks. Baltimore has a phenomenal aquarium. It's full of sharks. They all are all doing their own thing. Their brains are 2/3 olfactory. What does that tell you? That they're kind of primitive. So as much as we, still rely on olfactory to give us that initial passive, that is the easiest way to get oxygen into our system. It's enjoyable, it's easy, it's intellectually stimulating. What is that? What's in this? I like it. I like it so much that I keep smelling it. because I can't quite figure it out, but part of me wants to figure out what's in that smell, what's in that wonderful tea, coffee. It's hard to even imagine those smells. Imagining the smells only get us halfway there, and there's tension associated with it. Smelling those smells, here's my coffee. Put a little hazelnut in there this morning. I like hazelnut. Every morning I like hazelnut. So, olfactory helps. So, but on our own, to enable, more ease of oxygen transfer, we have muscles that take our head and brain in every direction. Ugh, crack, crunch, crackle, crackle, snap, crackle. We eventually want to work on having a looser jaw. Yap, yap, yap. We talk, talk, talk. Eat, eat, eat. We eat all the time. Holding our breath to control this or that. Our jaws, TMJ is, the final breakdown of it, but there's a lot more. And and this area of the face is called neural crest. It's part of neural crest derivatives, which is really an outpouring of brain neurons and genesis type mesenchyme is what they call it. It's a type of fluid. They consider it it flows. Stem type cells that come down and create the face. La la la. That's the face. Land-based messaging face, as opposed to non-neural brain origin cells that create the back of the tongue and everything else, or most everything else. All our sensory things are part of the spinal cord and neural crest and skin color things, melatonin, skin color cells and such. A few other things in the digestive system are part of the brain, but most of the brain is the brain itself, the central nervous system, and derivatives of that brain area, or the face. Very sensitive, the face, very sensitive. So the jaw being held limits the sensitivity of the face and the function of the face, particularly in phonation. We'll talk about that in another video. So, so the shoulders are also a main culprit because it is, the shoulders hold a tremendous amount of tension, stress-related tension, anxiety-related tension, hypoxia-related tension. Hypoxia, low oxygen. So, when we're in a tense situation, we tend to heave. That's an emergency measure. We use it a lot more than we should. So we want to almost disengage that and move to olfactory, move to back breathing. Breathing is really easy. To do it, you can do it that way and you get some tension in your face, but it helps when you go on all fours. That's why swimming is a good one to get back. It also provides buoyancy. Riding a bike opens that back. And in any sport, just to be aware of the buoyancy, the torso buoyancy, and the expansion that you were looking for to enable what evolution has brought us to, and what industrialization is kind of clamping down on. So as wonderful as industrialization has been, providing this world with so much stuff, so much materialism, so much convenience and plastic, there's some issues there. I want to do a video on the power of nature, and so powerful it is. Providing vibrational input, providing sensory and auditory stimulation. It's harder and harder to find nature, isn't it now? How do we fix that? How do we address that with this new knowledge that we have? What an awesome stimulus nature is for our evolutionary development within our own lifetime. And it goes far deeper and complex than we perhaps are ready to acknowledge, that it is there and it is mighty. Life is mighty. Life is undeniable. We certainly can't replicate that, as much as we try with robotics and plastics and such, as fun as they are. So let's talk about ourselves. We are evolutionary creatures, and we are hive creatures. I think we talked about that. We need a lot of oxygen. We are 70 to 80% water. Do we maintain that? Nope. If you look at an Alzheimer's brain, it looks like a dried up mushroom. And low hydration levels are a precursor to full-blown Alzheimer's and other dementias as well. Precursor to cell death. The brain is a very fluid, hydrated system. It's very enclosed and encased in our skull to make sure that is the case. The brain experiences life through the body and sensation and experience and perception and tasks and purpose. So what will put us on a really ideal path as humans? We all want to feel good. We all want to have a purpose, I would say. We all deserve to have a purpose. It's called validation. We all deserve to feel validated. We all have a genetic makeup. That genetic makeup has a trajectory. We want to enable that trajectory. We want to be who we are, who we have evolved to be, and then more. We want to be who we are and then exercise our choices. The gift of life is choices. So when we make choices, we want to be able to have the potential to follow through with them. And I've talked about this frontal area of the brain, the frontal lobe, which is working memory, executive, a lot of creativity, a lot of figuring out and such. So the purpose of this wonderful brain, since we've stood up and we can see everything pretty much that's going on, and we have this fabulous sensory system that senses everything that's going on, to make decisions and to say, I want to be a neurosurgeon, and I also want to be the International Minister of Culture for the United Nations, and I also want to help everyone else be what they want to be, and I want to be a good mother and friend, and I want to be a good, all these things I want. There are a lot of things. I make a lot of plans. I have my vision just grows and grows and grows. And here I am getting ready to start my another master's degree at Johns Hopkins here. I'm not sure what's in the days ahead, but I'm going to show up and be available, and as my ideas come, I'm going to incorporate those ideas into my vision. I'm going to make all of these plans, but not plan the results. I'll tell you, I plan to make these videos about four or so years ago, and I just wasn't ready to make them. I feel ready to make them now, but in the process of, within those 4 years, I got the equipment, I amassed my knowledge, I talked about it and shared it with other people. And so I want to talk to you about the elements that lead to what I feel enable